Hello YouTubers, this is Amberola1B presenting another video of one of my old antique recording devices. Today I'm presenting the Protona Minifon P-51 spool-to-spool wire recorder. Now, some of the accessories didn't come with this unit when it was new. I just sort of accessorized them. But in this pocket you would have had the Minifon P-51 recorder. In this little pocket here you would have had maybe a couple of spools of wire to use, and I think maybe this little stethoscope hearing device for the listening would have fit right there. And then you could have a pocket here for any other little accessories that you may need, like the AC supply for your lighter in your car, maybe a spare microphone or two, and some batteries would have fit somewhere in here. The standard Protona Minifon microphone, which came with a lot of these devices, and maybe a telephone listening device. Underneath here we would have something like the wristwatch microphone, and in this pocket you could fit the little harness that would fit around your body to hold the Protona while you're recording in surveillance situations. Now, the little case for the Protona is a little bit tattered here and there, but it's obvious from its design that you can actually run the machine inside the case without having to remove it, because you have a little space for the on-off switch, the record and playback jack plug, the volume control, as well as the play and rewind switch, and a little hole for the AC power adapter. But I'm going to take this out of the case right now. This case isn't in the greatest condition, and it's probably going to shed some of its insides on the machine itself when I take it out, but it may not. It's also a very tight fit because I'm sure the leather has shrunk over the years. No, it came out pretty clean. The inside of the case is still in pretty good condition, but it's the outside that's kind of tattered and old looking. Now here we have the Protona Minifon P-51 spool-to-spool wire recorder. Now the way you access the inside of the machine is to turn this little button here from the red to the black dot, and that way you can remove the lid. And here we have the P-51 spool-to-spool wire recorder. Its functions are the on-off switch, which is actually a lever that you pull out or push in. Pulling it out starts the machine, pushing it in stops it. This little lever here, when pulled out, will activate the rewind. When pushed in, will activate play. Now, this machine has no way of erasing a previously recorded message or whatever you put on the spool of wire just by pushing, the function button and erasing the message from record to play. What you have to do is push this little erase magnet in the path of the wire, like that. In other words, if the erase magnet's out of the way, you're going to actually have more than one recording on the wire, because it's just going to overlay a new recording over an old one. Now, these spools here for the wire aren't compatible with the P-55 wire recorder, because the inside hub is a lot larger than the P-55 spools of wire. And plus, the P-55s are made out of plastic. These are made out of metal. And they look like they're made out of steel, because pot metal usually doesn't last like this in over the years. And this is the take-up spool, which you can remove, and I'll show you the underneath of it. Here we have the motor, the spring drive belt with the pulley, which is attached to the motor, and here's the take-up hub. Now, when the machine is in the stopped position, this little piece of leather pushes up from its hole to put pressure on the underside of the take-up spool so that the spool will not spill its wire out when the machine isn't in motion. When you pull the start lever out, which activates the motor, it's not too visible, but that little piece of leather actually recessed into that hole. Now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to stop it so you can see the piece of leather push upward. You can barely see it, but the leather pushed upward to stop the take-up spool. Pushing the start lever down again, and the leather is out of the way so that the spool can run freely as it's taking up the wire. Now over here, we see another friction device, which is not a piece of leather, but it is a piece of felt. Now, this gets put into play when the machine is going from play to rewind, and as you'll see very clearly, this piece of felt pushes up against the take-up spool as it's rewinding so that there won't be any spillage. And it puts gentle tension on the take-up spool. In play position, rewind. Now, as in all wire recorders, it has a baler head which bobs up and down to distribute the wire evenly on each spool. And as is common with all Protona Minifons, you have 3 batteries which have to power the unit. Unfortunately, I don't think they make 12-volt batteries for these Minifons anymore, but they do make a 30-volt battery, which this one's a little torn up from being pushed in and pulled out of its little socket constantly. That's kind of tight, and so it's worn some of the paint off. But this is a 30-volt battery which activates the amplifier. You have a standard 1.5-volt battery for the filament, and this would have been the 12-volt battery to power the motor, and this would have gone right here. And this battery here would have gone right here. And the little 1.5-volt battery would go in here. Now, to make it easy to remove the 1.5-volt battery, they put this little cloth pull string here so that when you remove the battery, you just pull up on that pull string. As soon as I get it in there, there we go. And you can remove the battery. Now I'm going to assemble the Minifon P-51 wire recorder and show you how it works. Put the spool of wire on here. Now the record playback head has a little safety device here which keeps the wire inside the head. I will show you that this is the little holdback lever to keep the wire inside the head while it's playing back. To thread it, you can just thread it just like a bobbin in a sewing machine. And then the wire will go around the take-up spool through this slot and then around this little hold back spring. And then once it's in there, you're not really supposed to turn the take-up spool while it's in play. The instructions say to pull out the rewind lever, and then you can manipulate the spool to wind the leader from the wire on there. And likewise, it says you're not supposed to turn the supply spool hub while it is in rewind, but turn it while it is in play. And remember, when you're recording or playing back a wire, if you're not going to erase what's on it, to have the erase head out of the way, or else you are going to erase what's on the spool before it gets recorded, and then you will lose your recording. Now here's the Minifon power supply, and it's got a plug with 3 prongs in it, and the prongs go in only one way, with the largest or longest prong on top and then the smallest prong on the bottom. And it goes in the back of the machine right here and plugs in like that. And now I'm going to do a recording with the 3 different microphones, the standard P-51 or the standard Minifon microphone, the fancier Minifon microphone, and then I'm going to use the throat microphone. Now when you use the throat microphone, you have the part of the mic with the little white dot on it facing your throat so that you can get the signal. Otherwise, if it's facing the wrong way, it'll sound muffled. This throat microphone doesn't really do a great job, but you know, it does its job. So anyway, we're going to start with the standard Minifon. Here we go. Testing, testing 1 2 3, testing 1 2 3. This is a test of the Protona Minifon spool-to-spool wire recorder using the standard Minifon microphone. Using the standard Minifon microphone. This is a test of the Protona Minifon spool-to-spool wire recorder using the standard Minifon microphone. This part of the test is over. Switching mics. Okay. And now I am testing the Protona Minifon P-51 wire recorder with the fancier microphone to see how it sounds different from the other standard Protona Minifon microphone. This is a test of the microphone on the Protona Minifon P-51 wire recorder. This is a test of the microphone, the fancy microphone on the Protona Minifon P-51 wire recorder. This part of the test is now over. Okay, last but not least, now testing the throat microphone. Unfortunately, the cord on this is kind of long. It's gotten a little bit tangled. There we go. Now to put this against my throat in the right spot. Facing the right way. It's kind of a little uncomfortable, but here we go. This is a test, this is a test. This won't sound too great, but this is a test with the throat microphone on the Protona P-51 wire recorder. This is a test with the throat microphone on the Protona Minifon wire recorder. This is a test of the throat microphone on the Protona Minifon wire recorder. Now this test is over and I'm going to rewind this and play it back. Now, there's no really way of rewinding the wire to the set starting point. Like there's no footage counter on this machine like on other tape recorders. So what you have to do is plug in the listening device, which is in this case the stethoscope, and just listen to your recording as it's being rewound into the stethoscope, and then find where your voice stops and the recording begins. So I'm going to see if this works now. I don't know if the microphone can pick that up, but that's my voice going backwards. Now the earpiece is actually detachable, so I might just put this up to the microphone of the camera.
Testing 1 2 3. This is a test of the Protona Minifon spool-to-spool wire recorder using the standard Minifon microphone. Using the standard Minifon microphone. This is a test of the Protona Minifon spool-to-spool wire recorder using the standard Minifon microphone. This part of the test is over. Switching mics. And now I am testing the Protona Minifon P-51 wire recorder with the fancier microphone to see how it sounds different from the other standard Protona Minifon microphone. This is a test of the microphone on the Protona Minifon P-51 wire recorder. This is a test of the microphone, the fancy microphone on the Protona Minifon P-51 wire recorder. This part of the test is now over. This is a test. This won't sound too great, but this is a test with the throat microphone on the Protona P-51 wire recorder. This is Minifon wire recorder. This is a test of the throat microphone on the Protona Minifon wire recorder. Now this test is over and I'm going to rewind this and play it back.
Okay, so that is the 3 different recording devices that you can get and use with this Protona Minifon. And the rewind isn't much faster than the playback, but it does the job. Anyway, I don't know if there's anything else I can say about this wire recorder except that it works. And I thank you for watching my presentation. And this is Amberola 1B signing off. Thanks for watching, YouTubers. See you again soon.